Hey everybody, it's Bryan here for Awesome Comics, and I got a couple of really special guests for us today. I got Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, artist and writer of Batman in DC. Now, I just wanted to ask you guys have been doing about 50 issues. 50 issues is going to be your last one, so I know it's a labor of love for you guys. I know you guys put a lot of your heart and soul in it. In your writing, I can tell that you really get the character, and in your art, I can really see that you just really love drawing Batman and how he fights and reacts and all that stuff. So what was the hardest thing about Batman to write and draw for you throughout the entire series?
Well, I think for me, the hardest thing was the intimidation factor. I mean, Batman, he has 75 years of amazing stories. Creators that I've looked up to for my whole life, like, have worked on this character and done stories that are far better than I could do. So when you get the job, I remember being like to my wife, maybe I should just like call in sick for the whole year, forever, And what the hardest thing is owning it, where you realize like everybody that you love that did Batman made their own version of Batman, their own version of Bruce that corresponded to their passions, their worries, their time, like their moment. And for me, it was about understanding that I had to do that too, and having a partner like him who was so supportive made that really possible, I feel like, from go. And I'm very proud of kind of how our Batman is very much ours. Like, it's different than Grant's or Denny O'Neill's or everything, and I love those so much. But I read ours and I see his, and I'm like, that's our Batman,
With anything, you've got to try and separate yourself from the rest of the pack, even if it's in a subtle, small way. And so many Batman artists, and they've all been great. And even though I inherited Jim Lee's designs when I took over 52, I still tried to modify it to make it a bit more my way. And then certainly when I got to 0 year and I got to redesign a costume, and now again in 50, now it's completely my way. But one of the things with like Batman, okay, we all know he's a great martial artist and everything, and I know a bit about martial arts myself, and I certainly have done a few martial art kind of moves for Batman in the book, but they really don't translate that well in comics, whereas brawling kind of movements translate with a lot more impact. So even though he's a technical fighter, if you look at a lot of my fight scenes, a lot of it's some big brawling, haymakers, because that just translates better than very cut, sharp, defined moves. Those are great on film, a little tougher to really pull that off, So mainly doing that, and as I said, with the new costume, I've always tried to make my Bruce more heavy-limbed and less ripped to the bone, kind of like a lot of guys do that spray painted on suit. I always hate that. Every hero looks like that. Batman, I think, looks more dangerous, heavier. Just a little more heavier. I'm pre-contest bodybuilder Batman, and a lot less features on the mask. None of that furrow brow and stuff. I try and keep that to the barest minimum, because you know what I mean. It's like the less features to me is again more intimidating. I think back to like a movie you may not know, Cool Hand Luke, and they had the one guy walk the line all the time. You never saw his eyes, man. It's just all mirror glasses. That made it scary, you know what I mean? So less feature is better. You don't exactly know what's in the cat's head, So that's the way I tried to treat my guy,
That's my favorite movie. You know that, right?
Oh, mine too. Love it.
Drinking it up here, boss.
I can eat 50 eggs.
Lucille.
Oh, that dress is so tight. I swear I seen bust loose.
He's like, quit working us up. Quit working them up.
So you're talking about issue 50. That's the last issue for you guys. What do you guys feel about exiting?
You're wrong.
It's actually 51.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
One extra.
So how do you guys feel exiting Batman, and like, what do you think about just like going on to new avenues, new projects and stuff like that? How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, for me, I think, I'm going to continue to do some Bat stuff that's a little bit different. Like, I feel like working on Batman is always me and Greg. I wouldn't keep on the title or stay on the title without him. It'll always be us if I ever do Batman. But I have some stories I wanted to do, and I have some, fun things, and we'll announce it soon. But ultimately, for me, I mean, I feel like the same way he does about, getting off the title in some ways after we've done a lot that we could do, and the book is still doing really well, and hopefully it makes people more excited when we come back together after he does his projects and I work on this stuff. And anytime he says I'm free to do anything, whether it was creator owned or DC or Marvel, I'd be there in a second. Like, there's nobody I'd work with above this guy ever in my life. So as a friend and as a partner. So I'm sure it's like, for me, it's not really sad because it feels like, oh, we're just gonna go to the next thing soon and work on something else soon, and so.
Yeah, with me, I think we're stepping off at a good time. We're still bringing the heat, and certainly I wasn't feeling like I was burnt out on the character or anything like that. But you don't want to get to that point where you're starting to feel, my legs are starting to go. But because we've all seen it in like television shows and everything else where, they're riding high and they just keep running it until it just sinks. And until cancellation. I just think that's like the worst thing. It's like when I was growing up, there's a show All in the Family, and they did that. And it was a great show in the beginning, and they just kept milking that cow until it was dead on the ground, And whereas Seinfeld, they left when everybody still was loving the show, and they wanted them back. So I think we're doing the right thing in the fact that we can always, at some point, revisit Batman. So we recharge, we're away from it, we take a little breath of air, and if we go back, we come back strong. We never got to the point where fans are going, Jesus Christ, can't wait for that team to get the hell off the book, you know what I mean?
So I know you guys are doing some new stuff now. I think, Greg, you're going to go work with Mark Millar.
Yeah.
What do you guys say about that?
Well, I can't say too much until he says what he wants to say about it, but I will just say that it's, with all the stuff I've done, whether it was Quasar, X-Force, Haunt, Spawn, Batman, it is different than anything I've ever done in my professional career as far as subject matter and the kind of things I'll be drawing. So I'm looking forward to building these worlds, and I'm inspired by it, and I can't wait, and I hope it does well on the big screen so that I can make a whole lot of money, because we all love a whole lot of money. Even if you don't worship money, a whole lot of money is a very good thing. So I'm hoping for a whole lot of money.
And I would say also, like, knowing what I know about the project and knowing what I know about Mark, what a good guy he is, what a great writer, and this guy, it's going to be something amazing. I'm really excited for them both and be first in line, to cheer them on. So.
Now, there have been rumors that you might be going to Justice League. Any validity there? Anything you can comment on that?
No. I'm not doing Justice League. I can't do a double ship, really, for me. I'd love to do Justice League with him.
Okay.
Like, if I did Justice League, I would do like a set story that we got ahead on and didn't have to do like the grind we did on Batman, and I would work on it with him. Like, he's that's the graduation I feel like would be fun. But for doing a double ship Justice League, I don't want to do double ship Batman either, and it's nothing against like the people doing those books or DC. I think they could be great. I have 2 kids. I teach for DC. I teach a class that I adore about bringing in new writers, new voices. And they hired me also as a creative consultant. So my workload is such that it's just doing a double ship after the run that we had on Batman or even on Justice League. It wouldn't be the right thing. So I have a book coming I'm very excited about and announcing next week that's a monthly that allows me to do Batman stories in a different way than I've done them before. So
okay, I can't wait to see that. Now, last thing for you guys real quick. For Batman, what was your favorite part that you guys did throughout the entire series? What was the best thing for you to do? Like, that is just awesome. What was it for you guys?
Yeah, we did a lot of fun stuff and great stuff that, both of us are proud of. But for me, I think probably issue 5 where we rotated the issue around full circle and disoriented the fans to go along with Batman's being disoriented. I think that was probably the coolest thing we did.
I agree. That was also one of the first times we really stuck up for each other against DC or did something that made me feel like we were a team, doing something that like we both believed in, they might not have believed in, and it really meant a lot, so I love that moment too.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much for talking to us.
Yeah.
We had a really good time talking to you guys, and we look forward to everything that you guys got coming. So thank you very much.
Okay, so
Brian.
donuts now?
Yeah, around the corner. All right, Brian with Action Comics.
No.
Awesome comics.
Awesome comics.
He knows it. Just talk to him.